The energy crisis in Europe is so bad that some people are thinking of using horse poop to heat their homes this winter. Now, we said that they're already using trash in Poland. What happens if they don't have enough trash? There's only so much trash that you can burn every day. You're going to start burning your paper, your books, your furniture, and now they're thinking of horse poop. Well, once upon a time, like about 100 years ago, we had horses. People were, if they didn't have cars, had horse buggies, and you had horse poop lying around the streets. But there's not that many horses anymore. Europe is facing an extremely cold winter that will be filled with energy shortages, blackouts, and absurdly high power bills. All across the continent, ordinary people can see what's coming, and many of them are starting to panic. Demand for wood stoves is off the charts, and many Europeans are hoarding wood and other materials to burn in their existing wood stoves during the bitterly cold months ahead. We truly are in unprecedented territory, and things are about to start getting really crazy out there. If you live in Europe and you would not have purchased a wood stove yet, it's probably already too late to get one for the beginning of the winter. It's being reported that any stoves ordered now could take months to deliver, and prices for wood pellets have almost doubled. As much as 70% of European heating comes from natural gas and electricity, and with Russian deliveries drastically reduced, wood, already used by some 40 million people for heating, has become a sought-after commodity. Prices for wood pellets have nearly doubled to 600 euros a ton in France, and there are signs of panic buying for the world's most basic fuel. Hungary even went so far as to ban exports of pellets, and Romania capped firewood prices for 6 months. Meanwhile, wood stoves can now take months to deliver. With wood and wood pellets being so expensive, some people in Europe are considering other options that once would have been unthinkable. For example, we're being told that some Europeans are actually contacting local chimney sweeps to inquire about the possibility of burning horse poop in their stoves. Inexperience is also evident in Germany, where the country's Association of Chimney Sweeps is dealing with a flood of requests to connect new and old stoves, and customers are inquiring about burning horse dung and other obscure fuels. If you were cold enough, you would burn horse poop in order to stay warm. Would you? Well, I guess if you're cold enough, of course, you'd burn anything to stay warm. Under normal conditions, no rational person would do such a thing. But at this point, Europeans can see that they may not be able to rely on their national power grids this winter. In fact, one top EU official is openly warning that energy shortages could lead to widespread blackouts in the months ahead. The European Union could face blackouts this winter as the continent faces an ongoing energy crisis amid Russia's war in Ukraine. But Brussels, that is European Union, the Parliament there, is preparing for worst-case scenarios, according to EU Crisis Management Commissioner Janez Lenarčič. And asked in an interview published Tuesday by Germany's RND media network whether EU countries would need disaster relief due to the energy crisis, Lenarčič responded, yes, that is quite possible. Sadly, this is true even in Germany. The Germans have the largest economy in the EU by a wide margin, but their leaders are publicly acknowledging that Germany may run out of gas at some point by the end of this winter. German Federal Economy Minister Robert Habeck expressed concern over the looming energy crisis this winter, telling German media that the situation was extremely tense and that there is a possibility that Germany may run out of gas. Habeck spoke on Friday, appealing to Germans to reduce their consumption of natural gas ahead of this winter, a day after the German government launched a new price break program to help Germans with the rising costs of energy. And whoever bombed the Nord Stream pipeline system made sure that Russia would not be able to come to the rescue by providing much needed natural gas at a critical moment. Germans desperately need to cut back if rationing is to be avoided, but here we are just weeks away from severely cold weather, and that is still not happening. The head of Germany's Federal Network Agency, which would be in charge of gas rationing in the event of supply emergency, repeated his warning a week ago that consumption was too high. We still struggle to avoid a gas emergency this winter without at least 20% savings in private households, businesses and industry, Klaus Müller of Bundeszagentur told Reuters. He said the situation may become very serious if we do not significantly reduce our gas consumption. The situation in the UK is quite dire as well. Last week, a warning that the British people could potentially face 3-hour rolling blackouts this winter made headlines all over the globe. Households could experience a series of 3-hour power cuts this winter if Vladimir Putin shuts off gas supplies from Russia, and Britain experiences a cold snap, National Grid has warned. Although we know that Britain does not use, I think they only use 4% of Russian gas. Now, for their energy, 4% of their energy, total energy. Now, such an event would mean consumers in different parts of the country being notified a day in advance of 3-hour blocks of time during which their power would be cut off in any effort to reduce total consumption by 5%. What would you do if the power went out for 3 hours on one of the coldest days of the year? You might want to think about that. Here in the United States, it appears unlikely that we will face emergency energy shortages this winter, but heating costs will definitely surge to record highs as energy prices continue to soar all over the planet. And we definitely do not want prices to go higher because approximately 20 million Americans are already behind on their power bills. At least 20 million households, or about 1 in 6 American homes, are behind in their power bills as soaring electricity prices spark what is said to be the worst ever crisis in late utility payments, according to Bloomberg, citing data from the National Energy Assistance Directors Association. NEADA said electricity prices had increased significantly since 2020 after a decade of stagnation. The steep rise has resulted in billions of dollars in overdue power bills. And the greatest energy crisis in any of our lifetimes is here. It's setting the stage for the kind of historic economic meltdown of epic proportions that so many prominent voices have warned would be coming. The price of energy has already gotten so high that some major European manufacturers have already been forced to shut down operations, which means, of course, that people will be losing their jobs. If energy costs make it impossible to operate profitably, the only logical thing to do is to close shop until energy costs come back down. But they aren't going to come back down anytime soon. Europe is truly entering the dark ages, and right now there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And also, one other aspect of what's happening, people don't have money to pay for their house, their maintenance costs, plus their food. And there are a lot of people that have to sell their homes or lose their homes because they can't make their mortgage payments. Now, one country, Greece, has stopped bankruptcy foreclosures. They have stopped foreclosures on homes because of what's happening to the economy here. Now, this is by Michael Schneider. He said, "My name is Michael. My brand new book entitled 70-Year Apocalypse is now available on Amazon. Including Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, Get Prepared Now, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way you can help is by sending digital copies of gifts through Amazon to family and friends. The time is short and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, The End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Twitter, and in any way that you can share these articles with others is a great help. These are such troubling times, and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge that you ask Jesus to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Schneider on Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.